We are at the UCT Business School today, really looking at the 20th celebration or the 20th birthday of the South African Qualifications Authority, as well as the National Qualifications Framework. We'll be deliberating on the various meetings that they'll be hosting this week, and also some of the outcomes that are actually being anticipated for this week. But to kick us off with conversations regarding exactly why is it that we're here and the significance of SAQA, I am joined now by the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the South African Qualifications Authority, that is Dr. Julie Reddy. Dr. Reddy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're very welcome. Good morning.
Now, obviously, it's the 20th celebration of SAQA, as well as the National Qualifications Framework. But for those of us that don't necessarily understand the role played by SAQA, can you kindly deliberate on that role?
Okay, yeah. SAQA was established by one of the first transformative legislation in the country. So it was, a very critical period in our country. And the South African Qualifications Authority was established to develop the National Qualifications Framework, which would be a unified framework for all qualifications and to bring education and training into one sort of system in the country, given our history. So it was a very important piece of legislation that led to the establishment of the framework. Over the past 20 years, we have registered numerous qualifications, developed policy, made significant strides in the education and training space. And I think the collaboration, the cooperation, and bringing people together to promote genuine qualifications in the country has been very significant.
You're speaking about issues such as genuine qualifications, and in a moment we'll get into exactly the, the various events that will be held throughout the week. But the genuine qualifications aspect of it, I know that you've got the Sustainable Development Goals 2030, which you're actually basing it on. But how then do you achieve that genuineness of it, and by what standards do you measure it?
In terms of genuine qualifications, SAQA performs an evaluation function. In the evaluation function, anybody with a foreign qualification that comes to South Africa, we verify that the qualification is authentic, that it was indeed awarded to the person who claims to have it. And also we then compare it to qualifications on the National Qualifications Framework. There are 10 levels. So we try to place it onto that level. So if people want employment in South Africa, they want access to further educational opportunities, or if we are trying to address some of our scarce skills need in the country, which is a perennial problem, then we know that the person indeed has the qualifications they claim to have.
And how are we faring with in terms of the qualifications meeting the global standards and being able to compete globally, in fact?
Well, one of our 20th, this year in celebration of SAQA's 20th birthday, we've got a series of international events. And in Cape Town this week, the first event is the launch of the African Qualifications Verifications Network. Last year in November, 14 countries, African countries, met to work collaboratively to promote genuine qualifications. And basically these are sort of partnering arrangements where we will work together to streamline and quickly assess whether a qualification is genuine that was awarded in other countries on the continent.
Sure. And of course, you're speaking about the various events that are hosted. I know that, is it yesterday that you had the African, was it the Qualifications Verification Network that you launched yesterday?
We launched
and I know
yesterday.
that you guys will be going to Robben Island sometime this week as well. So it's quite exciting stuff, especially for some of the delegates that have never even been to Cape Town, and be able to sort of see the scenery, etc. But tell us about the series of events and really the significance thereof.
Yes. We thought, while we're celebrating SAQA, we're also celebrating South Africa and the wonderful things it has to offer, but mostly our history, which we are very proud of the achievements we have made. So today with our international delegates, both the delegates who came to the seminar, at the networking event yesterday, and today we're taking them to Robben Island. Of course, a very significant place in our history. And this evening we will have a cocktail event at the Robben Island Museum to just expose our international guests to our history and the events that led up to where we are 20 years of democracy in South Africa. And And tomorrow we start another event, the Groningen Declaration Network, which is an international association to digitize educational records and to promote portability of student movement globally. Will have a their annual general meeting in South Africa. Last year, they have this annual meeting. South Africa bid to host the meeting in South Africa, and SAQA bid for this, and SAQA was awarded this event. So we're very pleased.
That was one of the many achievements of SAQA. In fact, let's speak about such achievements. I mean, what in the past 20 years exactly? What are some of those milestones that really have been overcome by SAQA to get to where it is today?
Yeah, SAQA, has. In addition to establishing the National Qualifications Framework, we have also made some significant strides. We have a national learner record database with close to 17 million learner achievement records in the country, which is a significant management information system of learner records. So tomorrow, if you want to go and check, are my qualifications recorded on this national register? You could find your records. We have a list of recognized professional bodies on this list. One of the very significant things, we promote the recognition of prior learning, which is a major achievement in South Africa, given that we have a lot of people who never had their qualifications recognized in a formal way. And in the National Learner Record Database, 28,000 records are for people who achieved it in this way. We do not publicize that they achieved it in this manner. We don't want to demean the way they achieved it, because an achievement is an achievement. But we do it for tracking purposes so that we know that we're promoting this. SAQA has developed very significant policies. We have national policies on recognition of prior learning, credit accumulation on transfer, assessment, to bring all of these things into a formalized space, and so that we have systems for dealing with this. As part of the National Qualifications Framework, one of our significant achievements is having the Minister of Higher Education and Training determine the sub-frameworks that sit on the National Qualifications Framework, and bringing in the Quality Council for Trades and Occupation, where they have developed their policy for the occupational and trade sub-framework. And then we have the sub-framework for higher education and training, and then we have the sub-framework for general and further education and training. So those are significant strides, and SAQA plays the coordinating role. And we have a system of collaboration where we work with each other to unify the education and training space.
Well, obviously we'll be deliberating more as the show progresses with really the achievements, but also some of the challenges, especially when it comes to making sure that sustainably, or the sustainable development goals are actually achieved in the means in which we can contextualize now the South African Qualifications Framework, as you're mentioning there with the National Qualifications Framework, I beg your pardon, as well. So we'll be getting into that as the time progresses. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. All the best with what you're doing so far. And of course, speaking there to Dr. Julie Reddy, who's the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the South African Qualifications Authority.